What is going on, guys? It is episode 633 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Brett's just a bucket of laughs today. I'm not even going to repeat what I said because it's offensive.
It's extremely offensive, and that's okay.
It's just us today, sad face. We did have a last-minute cancellation with our guest, but that person is rescheduled now. No worries. I just hope that you guys are not mad at us. It's gonna be fine.
I've got my bearings together. I'm good.
You good?
Yep, I'm good. When the topic comes back up, though, I'm gonna lose my shit again.
Okay.
It's gonna be awful. Guys, I hope everybody is doing well today. It is Friday, so it's gonna be a chill day here today. We got a bunch of stuff to get into, but before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already, and share the video out with your friends, family, loved ones, people you hate, people you only kind of like, somebody who might or might not have been in your top 8 MySpace friends. Everyone, because that is the best way to help this show grow, is to share it out with other people. And remember, all super chats $20 and over, we will interrupt the discussion. We will read those super chats right then and there. It is the best way if you want to cause me to lose my train of thought, which it usually does.
Why am I the only person on the show that breaks? You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
I've had multiple, like, Mary's broken moments on this show.
Because the stuff that
seems
breaks,
like it happens to no one else.
Because the stuff that breaks me can't be said on air.
Oh.
Usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's usually more degenerate and wrong.
It's usually reading the super chats that does it for me.
Yeah.
That just like.
Yeah.
I
put on my game face. I put on my serious face. That's what I do.
You're a professional.
Try my best. Do my best. We got a bunch of stuff to get into today. So first things first, the Gina Carano lawsuit against Disney is heating up, as it says in our headline today. I was channeling my inner reporter. It is going forward after a ruling from a court, from a judge the other day. So we're going to get into that a little bit. She's going on a bit of a media blitz right now. She was just on with Russell Brand. I almost said Russell Crowe. I saw 2 headlines earlier on like r/entertainment that was like one from Russell Brand and one about Russell Crowe, and I was like, Russell Brand was in Gladiator?
Russell Crowe said that he feels a little bit hurt that they're making a sequel without him.
Well, that's what it was about. I was like, Russell Brand was in Gladiator? Oh wait, no, Russell Brand is the topic above it. Russell Crowe is the one underneath it. So we're gonna talk about the Gina Carano lawsuit just a little bit. We also got a couple of other topics. So Naomi Campbell, former supermodel. Are you like always a supermodel? I saw people arguing the other day. They were rating what this Logan Paul, they criticized Logan Paul for calling him President Trump rather than former President Trump. If you're a supermodel, are you always a supermodel, or are you a former supermodel?
Every former president is still referred to as president, whoever
That's how I always thought the
We got a 20. Pat the plumber said, chill day. Mary just called me out for being fat.
How did you know that it was Mary who asked this poll? Somebody thought maybe I asked the poll. No, Mary wants to know. If you're in the chat right now, if you're watching live, we asked the question of you. We said, be honest. Are you fat?
Yeah, we're gonna be honest together on this episode and really see who in the chat is in shape and who's not. I want to know if you guys would be honest with yourselves, even in an anonymous poll. You know, no one's gonna know who you are.
In the chat, Wodenshot says, Brett, fix your finger, dude. You've had that thing on for like a month.
What are you supposed to do? Just force it to be better?
It's still like double normal size and doesn't bend, so I can't really do anything about that. I take it off for a little bit when I get home.
I'm just built different.
Yeah, so
if it were me, I would just make it better.
It doesn't help that I keep skating on it and hitting it.
Well, yeah, that might be part of the problem.
Yeah.
Ashley Epps said, happy Friday, wonderful Brett and Mary. So happy to be here. Love the show.
Thank you.
How positive.
That was like the most positive and genuine super chat we've ever gotten. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, it's all downhill from here.
So we're gonna talk about Naomi Campbell because she's telling women to not wait and go and have kids.
Yeah, ironic though, because she did not take her own advice.
Yep. So we're gonna talk about that. Also, Pamela Anderson is getting crap on the internet because she had the temerity to just age.
Yeah,
basically.
poor lady.
Yeah,
right?
it's. We're gonna talk about that. Also, we're gonna get into the blind casting auditions that are going on for Toph and
Toph.
Do I say Toph? Toph. Yeah.
It's not toe.
But well, I didn't watch Avatar: Last Airbender. But blind casting. That's funny. Come on. We're gonna talk about whether representation actually matters. Was that yours or mine?
That was your money gun.
Okay.
Just make sure you got it loaded.
So we're going to get into that because we want to talk about whether representation actually matters. I was talking to someone the other day about Daredevil and about whether you could have actually cast a blind actor to play Matt Murdock, and we had a bit of a back and forth about how much extra work would go into it given how much they used the actual actor to do the fight scenes, which would make it a lot harder.
Well, I'm assuming that if they have a blind actress playing Toph, that they're going to use a body double or stunt double for pretty much everything action related.
Yeah.
But maybe not. I don't know. They're going to need some pretty impressive skills to get that done.
When is that supposed to come out?
I don't know because, you know, what surprised me is that they're casting for a second season months after the first season came out. Did they not even have it confirmed and greenlit until well after season 1 got its ratings?
Very possible.
And then by the end of this show, in a 4-season run, it's going to be like Stranger Things. All these people are going to be in their 20s, and it's not going to make sense anymore.
Yep.
It just doesn't make any sense how they're planning this.
Yep. So we're going to talk about that. We got a bunch of other stuff to get into. So if you're ready, Mary, we can just go ahead and get started. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm not going to break. We're good to go.
Okay.
All right. So I've got some interesting news for you guys. If you've been paying attention, Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be coming out in about 6 weeks, and it looks like things are on the up and up for this one because it's looking like projections, at least early projections for this film, say that it's looking to make about $200 to $239 million conservatively in its opening weekend, which is a lot. And obviously, early estimates are always dicey. These numbers could change drastically between now and when this movie comes out in July. So take that with a grain of salt. But given the fact that Disney hasn't had the best run lately, like right now, there's a lot of positive word of mouth going on for Inside Out 2. And a lot of people are saying that it was good, that it was worth going to see. Critics that I do trust are saying so. So they're looking to get at least one in the win column for the first time in a very long time. It kind of runs sideways, or like runs alongside The Acolyte, which is obviously giving them a ton of negative press right now. But no R-rated movie has ever opened up to $200 million.
Never?
No.
Ever?
So what this is saying, like the highest grossing R-rated movie opening is still the first Deadpool, which opened to like $132.4 million. And I'm sure with inflation that would put it in like the 160s or the 170s now. So be that what it will, like even adjusted for inflation, that means that a $200 million opening would still surpass those numbers because the original Deadpool came out in 2016. If it got over 150, if it hit 150, that would be a franchise best that would be a best for both Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. I think Ryan Reynolds' best opening is still Deadpool with like 132, and Hugh Jackman's is like X-Men: The Last Stand with like 103. And I was curious what the numbers were on Logan, and Logan opened to $88 million.
For some reason, I was under the impression that Logan was on Disney Plus, but
it is.
Oh, I thought it. Wait, you mean it was released in theaters before it was put on Disney?
Oh, yeah. Logan came out in 2017.
Okay, I just thought that because I watched it on there.
Logan was a James Mangold movie that came out in 2017. It ended. It was like it cost $97 million to make and ended with like $660 or $670 million. So it made its money back and then some, made plenty. But that's, again, the reason I've complained about this movie was that I thought that there was no reason to actually make it, given that I thought the send-off for Logan, for the character of Logan, was so fantastic. But that doesn't look like what they're going to do. There's all sorts of hullabaloo going around about the posters for this movie, calling it gay bashing, and people saying it was criticizing gay culture. They clearly
gay culture?
Yes.
What?
The joke is that the posters were plays on either Deadpool or on Logan posters or on famous Disney posters. So one was a play on the poster of Logan holding with X-23 holding his hand, and one was a play on the Beauty and the Beast poster from 2017. And both of them had tons of threads going around on X with people saying that they were making fun of it, saying, "Hey, look, it's gay," and that's the joke.
Maybe that's okay.
And that's like, nobody's telling you that shouldn't be okay, but that wasn't what these were. These were just satirical posters.
No, they are. They're very mad that the joke is them being gay.
Oh, I mean, but they're not even.
They're
it's
like, oh, you think it's laughable that someone would be gay? Like, they're very genuinely offended about it.
There's a $20 one there from... That username is amazing.
What is it?
Augusto Pinochet's Killdozer.
He said, I know you often doubt yourself, Brett, but you have grown so much at what you do since you started this. I'm proud of you and know you will one day make PCC bigger than you can imagine. Love you too, Mary.
That's second in line for most wholesome post.
It's very positive today. I'm almost skeptical.
I'm here for the. Yeah, is this
like
are we being set up for something?
Is this a punked?
We're being set up for something.
Like I feel, I feel we're being set up. You know, my prediction for what's going to happen with our review is you're going to like it. I'm going to hate it. And like, not like I hate most Marvel movies. I think I'm going to have a special hatred for it.
Because of the Reddit humor?
Because of the Reddit humor and the, I'm sorry to be so graphic, but like fuckity fuck thing that they do. I hate it. I hate the vulgar language when it's being used in such a not clever way. Just for the shock laughs.
To me, it's the opposite.
Don't like.
Now it's like when they do, like when a television show gets their one F word a season, I just hate that. It's just like, ooh, we wrote up this whole year. Just don't do it at all.
Right. It's like, it doesn't need to be this thing that you put on a pedestal, but it also doesn't need to be the way that you punctuate every sentence, you know?
Look, where I see that it fits the most is when you're watching, like if you watch a lot of like thrillers or R-rated movies about cops and law enforcement, there's where you actually realize it probably fits more rather than in like network TV where they're saying words that just wouldn't be said by an adult in that situation.
Right.
I was watching. I've been watching the Morgan Freeman Alex Cross movies, and there's a lot of cussing, and you're just like, yes, it makes perfect sense. It's a dour environment. These are adults in a very, very dour industry, you know, investigating kidnappings and murders. It makes sense there. But for the Reddit humor, it would be weird to change it now. It wouldn't be in line with the character, so they have to do that going forward. The hardest part about doing this,
it just feels dated. It feels mid to late 2010s.
Well, you know, I mean, they have to do that with the character. Like the hardest part will be making the thumbnail for these, because when we agree on something, it's very easy to make our thumbnails for the movie reviews. When we don't agree, then it's like, whose idea do you put on the thumbnail? When we did for the Ghostbusters, we just put, we're divided on. Yeah. Because it's not fair to put like, if we wanted to do it just for clicks, we would just put whoever had the negative opinion on there, because negativity gets more clicks than
so that'll be me.
Positivity. So, you know.
I'm just predicting that the general sentiment is going to be, even from people who are critical of Marvel, like this was okay, and I'm going to be in the corner hating it.
Yeah,
That's my prediction.
I am sure that I will like the movie just fine. I liked the first Deadpool. I didn't like the second one nearly as much, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll get there. It's not this month, it's next month. So, all right, guys, we got more to discuss here today. This is a very interesting thing that I found when I was streaming, or when I was looking around today. So, as you guys know, I've changed my opinions on ads at least a little bit in the last year. I for one, have been somebody who's been vehemently against seeing any ads on anything at any time. Certainly, I'm probably one of the earliest adopters of like YouTube Premium, like back when it was YouTube Red, right? But right now, Tubi just had its biggest month ever, and I kid you not, it beat out Disney Plus, Peacock, Paramount Plus, and Max.
Yeah, it says it got 1 million average, which surpassed Disney Plus that got 969,000. And I guess that just shows that most people don't feel the way you do about ads, Brett. Like, no. I really don't mind them as much as you seem to. Most people are willing to put up with it, especially when it seems like every single streaming service is raising their prices on a monthly basis by just $1 or just a couple dollars, like you won't notice. But over time, it adds up.
Max just did like usually when they announce these price increases, it's like a month or several months out.
Yeah.
Sometimes half a year out. Max just goes, we're adding $1.
Yep.
So I don't know who it was on Twitter, and I apologize for not knowing your name, but I saw a really interesting theory that somebody said that the Hollywood Reporter said, which is that they believe, or at least people are positing, that the streamers are doing this on purpose to push you to their ad tiers, because the real money is in the ad tier where they get the revenue from the people who are actually taking out the ads. So they want to price people out of the
make the premium like top subscription as expensive as possible.
That way it pushes you to the that makes no sense to me, because it's one thing to get Tubi or to get Freevee, where you get your ads and you pay nothing. I will never pay for like limited ads. I will never pay $7 to see ads.
Right.
You can go take that and jump it off a
It's
cliff.
literally cable. Like, everyone thought that we were in this golden age of no ads.
Yep.
And I guess it's just the corporate greed striking back again.
What's interesting about it? So I got a response from Lore TV. Lore TV is the channel that put out the Gothics documentary, hosted it initially, and said, "Doesn't this ad streaming model just mean that all entertainment is going back to the big pharma funded content?" Well, that's certainly true if you're watching network television.
Yeah.
It doesn't solve the problem of freeing artists to make the content they want, and the ad model means that they have leverage to continue woke nonsense. What's interesting about that? I wrote like a long reply here, and a semi-long reply here. Theoretically, ads should be a good thing, because if you're going on an ad-based model and they're only going to be willing to take out ads on things that are doing well, right? Once the viewership starts going down, that starts looking less and less appealing to the 18 to 49 ad demographic, which is what most of these companies are looking for. And I just read this very long article where the lady who's the head of CBS basically said, "I understand that you're mad about us canceling all these shows, because a bunch of shows like the really crappy NCIS Hawaii got canceled because of
Didn't even know that
it came out of
was a thing.
the strike, and they canceled it, and saying like, look, we have to make hard decisions about what's doing well. We have to weigh how well this show is doing versus how well something could potentially be doing if we bring in something new. And there's a lot that goes into that. So theoretically, you should be able to vote more with your wallet by not watching something on an ad tier than anything else, because new seasons won't get made if nobody tunes in to watch it when the money is being subsidized by ads. Now, if this is something that's done on Netflix, where they're just green lighting a bunch of stuff, they drop a season and then they wait to see if it does a certain amount of minutes watched or hours watched. That's another thing entirely. But things like Tubi or Freevee, they're run almost exclusively on licensed content, meaning that they're not like, there are limited originals on those networks. Even Roku has their own. They did the Spiderwick Chronicles. I was like, is anybody actually watching Roku original shows? But most people don't go, like, if you ask the average person who's watching stuff on Tubi or Freevee or Roku, they're not going there for the scripted content that they're making. They're going there to watch the old stuff that already exists, that's already a proven commodity within those industries. So if you're talking purely on the studio level, when it comes to network television, you're actually almost better off with ads, because it allows you to vote with your wallet.
The worst thing that they do, I had never considered that angle before, but yeah, it's good if it makes it a more merit-based system. But the worst thing that they do is making one season of a show ad tier, and then the rest of the seasons for the next tier up.
Yeah, so that show that I was talking about like a couple weeks ago, Almost Paradise, was like, and it's on Freevee, but it's also Amazon Prime. So when you watch season 1, it's just there. When you watch season 2, it's got the little Freevee logo down in the corner, but because I've got Amazon Prime, I guess it doesn't show any ads. But maybe if I didn't have Amazon Prime and I was just watching it on Freevee, maybe I would only have access to season 2.
It's all getting too complicated.
Another one, like you guys, a couple months ago, I was talking about this show called Jeremiah from like the early 2000s that I found on Roku, and I went and found it on Amazon Prime. I'm like, oh, cool, I can watch it without ads. Only season 2 is on there and not season 1. They didn't have season 1 at all. You had to buy it.
Yeah. It's even worse if it's not starting with the first. It's just right in the middle. Like, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
But I would like to believe that if we operate under the premise that people don't like woke stuff, again, I hate that word and I hate the generalization. If you just don't like, you don't like bad stuff, and you don't watch the bad stuff, theoretically, if you're going by the old network model and you do not tune in, they should be canceling the stuff as the ratings go down. And then you have to, then they have to weigh like, look, there's whole channels that are dedicated to just how much does Hollywood actually care about money. Clearly, ideology took over for them a very long time ago, and they're willing to subsidize a lot of bad stuff in the name of pushing a certain agenda. That is true in a lot of respects, but also there's still plenty examples of shows on network TV getting canceled because they're not doing the numbers that they want. So voting with your eyeballs on there, clearly you're not buying a product, but you're giving them money when you watch on the ad tier. So that is a good way to vote.
Except for us when we need to hate watch things. That's with the exception.
Even that, look, I say
us.
that to people. I'm not a boycotter. Like I say, watch what you want to watch, and if you don't, I'm not gonna boycott all of it. I'm gonna find stuff that I like. And the real sad fact is, realistically, and they're true when it's true when people say this, there's been enough stuff created that you could go a lifetime and never run out of stuff to watch if you had an open enough mind. You do not need new content. You don't. Mm-hmm. There's every single day you will do the dead scroll where you scroll through a streaming service and your eyes glaze over and you've passed 10,000 things that you're never going to watch.
Yeah. So. I don't know why anyone cares about the novelty of the new Netflix show or the new whatever it is anymore when there's just an endless library to choose from.
Yep.
I never got that.
There's a $20 one there from Brandon Harris.
He said, I have canceled subscriptions because of ads. Paramount Plus through Amazon I don't see the
they have
message.
Yes, he's right. It says they
had
have
30-second ads about their other shows. Nope.
They do that. So you go and you pay for Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
And you get 38, if it's a 45-minute episode, you get to where the last commercial break would have started, and you get a freaking ad for a Paramount Plus original, and that is blasphemy and should be.
You have no choice.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's absolutely awful. You're right. That is absolutely worth canceling for that alone. That is very, very annoying. So, all right. Let us move on then, shall we? We've got more to discuss here today. Because I also wanted to fold that into one of the things about Tubi and all this stuff is look, there's a lot of things going on with streaming services right now. You want to talk about wasting money? Netflix just increased their deal with Barack Obama's production company, which I find really, really funny because it just doesn't feel like any of the stuff.
Ground.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like any of the stuff that he's created has really set the world on fire. There was that one movie last year that was popular for a week.
Which one?
What was it called? Leave the World Behind?
Yeah. But the next one you said is supposed to be about some gay rights activist in the 60s.
So it says Higher Ground's recent projects with Netflix include Rustin, American Symphony, Leave the World Behind, Working, What We All Do All Day, and Bodkin. Rustin is a feature film that tells the story of a civil rights and gay rights activist, Bayard Rustin. It earned an Oscar, a BAFTA, and SAG Award nominations, starring Coleman Domingo.
This is interesting. Michelle Obama is working on a rom-com with Lupita Nyong'o called Fling. It's starring her, which is interesting. I just don't see.
Think she watches rom-coms?
I don't get that.
I imagine that. I just imagined Michelle Obama watching nothing but serious documentaries.
Yeah.
And reality TV.
Biopics. And not reality TV.
No, I think they do that. I think that that's their guilty pleasure. That way they can do the slice of life story. It's but I also watch these.
An HGTV.
Barack Obama was famous for having The Wire is Barack Obama's favorite show of all time.
Yeah.
Red flag. Huge red flag. And
didn't he also say House of Cards was one of his favorites?
He used to get early screeners of House of Cards because he's the president. So yeah.
That says
I'm not saying that it's a huge red flag that the president of the United States' favorite show is The Wire, but do with that what you want. I'm just
what would be the most green flag show for him to say? Thank you.
The most Walker, Texas Ranger.
I wouldn't believe him if he said it.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
It's just like when he puts out these lists of his music of the year. Yeah, no.
Or diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Yes, that would actually prove his patriotism.
It would. Remember, be based and America pilled. That's what you should be. Mm-hmm. So if he said that, I would buy it. Depends on how he says Guy Fieri or whether he says
Fieri.
Yeah.
No one says it like that.
All right, and live action Moana has found their Moana.
Did you want to get into this, or are we saving this for the TOF topic.
Oh yeah, we moved it over there. No,
Yeah.
I originally had it here because we were talking about casting and stuff like that. Okay.
We'll just save that for later.
Okay, all right. Pope Francis is in the news, and not for saying things that he's going to get in trouble for once.
I'm surprised that you were the one who sent this to me.
Yep.
I had not seen this, but apparently they just shipped a bunch of American comedians to the Vatican to meet the Pope.
They
and,
dumped him out like somebody
took
bought
photos.
somebody bought Epstein's plane and then just.
What happened? I don't
There's
understand.
a $20 one there from Pop Culture Junkie.
Amazon's ad tier is eating Netflix's lunch. Reason: advertisers are getting purchasing data for viewers synced with viewing habits.
That's awesome.
That doesn't sound awesome. I don't like the feeling of being watched.
I love anything where Amazon just proves that Jeff Bezos is running the world just because they hate him. I don't like Jeff Bezos. I like that everybody else hates him. Mm-hmm. I was like, they're like, look at this guy who's improved the lives of like gazillions of people by allowing them to get packages at any time, no matter where they are in the world, and then provided hundreds of thousands of people jobs. What a bad person. Is he a bad person? Probably, but he's a net positive for people who need jobs and people who need to get stuff delivered to them.
He's not as hateable as some other billionaires, for sure.
Every time I see him, I'm like, this is why you should privatize American industries.
There was also this photo of the Pope shaking hands with Whoopi Goldberg, and I just imagine him saying, like, I loved you in Sister Act.
Yes!
You know? Like, is she about to ask him to be a producer on Sister Act 2?
Is Sister Act 3 still coming out?
There's 3, sorry.
They're still making Sister Act 3, I heard.
Yeah, who did you say was in it?
Oh, I don't remember. You have to look it up. It's probably still online.
I think we got another 20 up here from... Oh, no.
No, we're good.
Okay, we're caught up.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Jimmy Fallon looks absolutely unhinged.
No, Stephen Colbert is the one who looks unhinged in that photo. He looks terrifying. Why is he like reaching toward him? And there's Chris Rock, Will Smith.
Chris Rock looks like he's doing
not invited.
Hey.
Yeah, I just don't.
This photo
like
is
the
really
vibes.
this photo is really creepy.
I don't like the vibes in this photo. Why does it look like they're, leering toward him? I don't know.
Very
they have like
creepy.
chairs in between them as a barrier. Like,
Yes.
stay away. Yeah.
Conan O'Brien looks like he'd rather be anywhere else but here right now. He's like, look, I got places to be.
Isn't he Catholic though? He's Irish. That would make sense.
Yep.
Maybe I'm wrong. But on to more disturbing, absurd news. A 58-year-old man was just indicted for planning a mass shooting at a Bad Bunny concert in the hopes of starting a race war.
Clearly channeling Manson's love of Helter Skelter.
Yeah, this man allegedly stashed guns near the concert in Atlanta before traveling to carry out the shooting, but he was reported to the FBI by someone he attempted to recruit. His name is Mark Adams Prieto. He is 58 years old. A source claims Prieto believes that martial law will be implemented shortly after the 2024 election and that a mass shooting should occur prior. And they added that he was ready to kill a bunch of people.
This is my favorite part. Welcome to Trump's America.
We're literally not in Trump's America. Like, what? I just can't. And, this did get me thinking. It started to get the gears turning. And, in an election year, it does make sense that there is a higher likelihood of, mass violence, mass chaos, events like this. You guys should definitely keep your wits about you in this year, especially once the election is getting closer and it raises questions about false flag events and all sorts of things. Just, stay safe out there.
When I first saw this story, I was like, does somebody hate Bad Bunny that much?
Yeah, like, you were laughing, okay, because I was like, the feds just told this guy, you gotta kill Bad Bunny.
The feds were like, we gotta get rid of this guy.
He's a threat.
Yeah.
To our national security.
Sean Nemo?
Wait, the FBI actually stopped something? Who wants to bet that we'll find that they encouraged it?
Yep. What's the meme that always comes up whenever one of these things happens? It's like, it says, say the line, Bart. Suspect was known before the event.
Well, yeah, it's true because he was already arrested last month over the plot.
Yep.
And now he is being indicted. That's why it's in the headlines.
Yeah, it says, so it says he was indicted by a federal grand jury on firearms trafficking, transfer of a firearm to use in a hate crime, and possession of an unregistered firearm. Frankly, I would have thought that transfer of a firearm to use in a murder would be something as well, but apparently it's a separate charge to do so in a hate crime.
I mean, yeah, but how would this constitute a hate crime? Like, is he was planning to commit this shooting because Bad Bunny is Latino? Like, what's the thought process there?
Prieto is a name of Spanish extraction, right? So that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, obviously this person is incredibly psycho and doesn't actually have a coherent worldview. But I'm just saying it doesn't really make sense on its face. And they didn't show a mugshot, which is always conspicuous.
Yes. When all the pictures are of the artist, not the person who's actually accused of the crime, there's reason to be suspect about all of this. But, perhaps Bad Bunny's music is just that bad. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's completely plausible.
Oh, one of these unhinged replies. Of course he's white. That's why he's still alive.
Yep.
Just people are actually delusional.
Yep. All right. Speaking of delusional.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill cringe. So we were just talking about how Elon decided to hide likes on X posts. And Mark Hamill did not take kindly to that.
No, he
does
did
not like that Elon made that decision. So what he has done in response is, instead of liking posts, he's replying to everyone he follows and agrees with, saying, like.
It's very boomer.
And of course, it's to tweets from Joe Biden, Brian Stelter, all of the usual suspects that you would expect. And
imagine
he even responded to this
Brian
one.
Stelter.
He even responded to this one with a like.
Which one?
This very tweet that we're looking at.
Yes, he did.
I don't know. It just comes off as very unhinged. It comes off as Elon derangement syndrome.
Him liking the one about this is actually kind of funny.
A little bit.
That one's at least, he has at least a mild sense of humor.
But it comes off still as, someone with Elon derangement syndrome, for sure.
Mark Hamill is just one of those guys that will just always set people off on. He's kind of like Stephen King. I kind of put him and Stephen King in the same boomer camp. If Cities by Diana leaned the other way, she could make jokes about him.
Yeah, Michael Rappaport also. Rainn Wilson.
A lot of them.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo's not even all that old. Not compared to Mark Hamill, I don't think.
Yeah, he just decided to become unhinged early in life.
Mark Hamill's just I bet you the best would be what is Mark Hamill like on Facebook? It's probably hilarious.
Speaking of wanting to hide your likes, it was recently found out that the CEO of Twitch is obsessed with e-girls.
I mean,
and that would explain quite a lot about what's been going on with their TOS.
I think that's just, it's proximity. This is an issue of proximity.
Let's look at the video. I want to see him.
There's no nudity in this, is there?
No, it's just e-girls because he got exposed while he was going through his timeline, his algorithm.
Want to explore clips?
That's very nice.
And now you have a clips feed. Okay? Suppose you want to check out the stories to see what you missed yesterday. You click there.
It's just selfies.
Yep. Bro, just lean into it. Be like,
and now you're in your stories feed.
That's all just...
Okay?
Okay.
I actually like that he didn't get flustered and he just kept doing it.
He just completely owned the fact that he is obsessed with these e-thought streamers, and... you can judge him all day, but that's what he's going to prioritize on Twitch.
Yep. Judge accordingly. Make your
titties, hot tubs, ASMR,
weird microphones that
he loves it all.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
look, I wonder what who's in charge of YouTube now? What's his name? And Susan Wojcicki and what's his name?
I don't remember.
I wonder what
YouTube
Susan
CEO.
Wojcicki watches on YouTube. Is she not with the company anymore?
She left.
She left.
But the current CEO of YouTube, I'm trying to figure it out. Neil Moen?
Okay.
Is that it?
I wonder what Neil Moen watches on a regular basis.
Probably T-Series because he's Indian.
It's kind of like how they were talking with Daniel Radcliffe recently, and they asked him what do you watch like in your free time?
Yeah.
What type of shows? What type of movies? Like I watch reality TV and cartoons.
That's awesome.
It's like I don't watch movies or long form television.
Love someone who is not a cinephile.
Yeah. Who does the job but doesn't care about like the actual industry.
Yeah, that's the least hateable trait about Daniel Radcliffe. We learned something today.
All right. What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
I say we start with cute today.
Okay, we'll start with cute today. All right. This was submitted to us by Jessica.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it because I saved it specifically for her.
Okay, here we go. I don't know if Jessica's watching right now, but if she is, she should be because it would be rude to ask us to play this and then not show the clip.
It's you as a cat.
That's not
the cat has heterochromia.
I do not have a tongue like that. My tongue does not stick out that far.
Okay, that's not.
Okay, here we go. And also
He's dumb.
I mean, that's me on any average night. My eyes aren't green and blue, but you know, close enough.
Close enough.
Close enough.
Pretty cat.
It looks gacked out of its mind on uppers because the eyes are so wide.
It's a catnip day.
Yes, it is. It definitely is.
It's catnip Friday.
All right. Well, good for the cat. All right, let's do a couple more here. This one is from Salty Bag of Nuts. That's a fantastic username. My dog Hattie eating carrots aggressively.
That is aggressive. ASMR viewing pleasure. You almost got your hand.
Yep.
Have you been seeing all of these videos about fake produce?
Yes. Well, I mean, we talked about
It's
watermelon.
getting more and more
than the watermelon?
prevalent. Yeah, there's more like people showing like, look at my rubbery watermelon, and then this other person was saying they had a fake avocado because it was rubbery, and it's like,
we need to get Alex Clark on the case.
okay, yes, I want to know what Alex Clark thinks, but also that's just what happens when it's not ripe or if it's too ripe, right? Like,
she had one last night that like almost sent me off.
what was it?
Let me see if I can find it. It was what was it that she was saying?
A take about like food dye or something.
Something that
Endocrine
food is
disruptors.
something that food is responsible
Bug spray.
for. What was it that was
Polyester. It could be any number of things.
I don't even remember.
MSG, GMOs.
People have no chin because of what they're eating.
What did she say? I want to know the. I want to know the details.
Let me see if I can. I'm gonna send this to you and see if we can, or see if I can send this and we can watch it. I watched this and I was just.
Oh,
like,
it was a video.
It was a video. I was like, everything is food's fault.
Okay.
There, I just sent it. I'm gonna pull it up here.
I'm excited to hear her.
Well, she was interviewing someone,
Perspective.
so we're gonna have to.
Oh, okay. That's like entirely the spillover bag.
Yes.
No chin, there's no jaw really. Their face just blends right into their neck. Does it have to do with the food that we're eating? Are we just seeing people's jaw?
The music is sending me right now.
It's very dramatic.
Eat right or you're gonna have no chin.
Drink the raw milk.
Does disappear?
We have a diet now: acai bowls, French fries, McRibs.
Wait,
How
I
much
like acai
chewing
bowls.
did any of those foods require? 0. And when we don't do it, we're going to take a hit down the line. So not only is this good for the skeleton of your face, chewing pumps more
She needs
blood
to have
through the
John
brain.
Mew
It calms
on the
down
show.
The nervous system. It opens
Yes.
up the eustachian tubes in your ears, clears out the sinuses. We're designed to do this.
Are we living in a mouth-breathing epidemic?
Around 50% of the population breathes in out.
The music drop.
I'm upset.
we love you, Alex Clark. Oh, well, let me like it because I'm not.
Ugh, you know we
A
stand.
lot of people say, well, who cares, right? Air is air. You are much more apt to have respiratory problems, asthma.
It's why you get all those ads now for like the thing to chew to like make your chin stick out.
Or
more.
mouth tape for
Yeah.
when you're sleeping. I need to know Alex Clark's sleep routine.
Yes.
Like, she probably does like a seed oil cleanse, and then she goes into an oxygen tank, and then she cryogenically freezes herself,
And that's why we love her.
and then she puts the mouth tape on and some kind of strange headgear. And you know what? I believe it's all worth it in the end. She's
Look,
going to be much healthier.
Guys, you don't need to do any of this. Just grow a beard. Beard fish them.
Well,
That's all you-
unfortunately, that's not an option for
the
us
ladies.
ladies.
Let's do one more cute of the day. And thank you, Alex Clark. That was awesome. We love you here.
That was
at
a something
PCC.
of the day.
Yes. This is from Isaac King. He submitted this one. He says, our daughter Remy is 4 months old today. Her best friend Bean and her are thick as thieves. This is them jamming out together to some heavy metal with their mom, 4 months old, and she has better bowel control than Joe Biden.
Impressive. That's, yeah. Or it's sad for Biden. I don't know. But that's a really cute baby.
Both of them. All right. And dog. They're both cute.
I like babies more than dogs.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
All right. Time
That's
to
just
do
me.
Time to do cringe of the day. And we have
This
several
one's really
here.
bad.
So
Or are we doing multiple?
We're gonna,
I'm okay with doing multiple.
No, I just showed chair for a second there. All right, let's go ahead and look at cringe of the day here. First things first, you found me this video.
Yeah.
This is depressing.
No sound, but
No
this
sound.
girl decided to go into a shelf at Walmart and just eat a bunch of food without paying for it, like inside, like behind the toilet paper.
Are those like rolls?
Those are like Pillsbury
Dough? Isn't that
like
unhealthy?
raw dough, and then like weird, like this red juice, like cranberry juice or something, and then she's spitting it at her phone. Eating only the muffin tops on 4 muffins to leave them there.
My hope is that this is just for content and she actually paid for all this stuff after.
Okay, regardless, you're making a huge mess
Yes.
and you look like an idiot.
Yes.
What is this? My big back self eating all Walmart food for free $99 is the caption.
That's the world we live in now, guys.
Clown world.
It's over under on what's worse, this or licking the top of ice cream.
I mean, licking the top of the ice cream is definitely worse because you're trying to trick people into buying it.
I saw this one the other day, guys. I don't know if I showed this one on the show. I might have. Where this person, and I have to believe it's fake and they don't actually do the last part here, but go with me.
Okay.
A guy goes and he pulls pieces of gum off benches and then
He chews them?
No, he cleans them, gets rid of all the chemicals, and then re-injects them with flavoring and color, folds them, molds them, re-wraps them, creates the wrapping from scratch, creates the labels from scratch, and went and put it back on a shelf. I have to believe it's fake, otherwise that dude should go to jail.
That is a crime.
Yes.
That should be a crime.
Yes.
What? Why?
Yep.
How is that? That's definitely not possible. You can't just take someone's DNA out of it.
He like decontaminated. He like put it through.
I don't believe
cleaners
that's a
and
thing.
shit.
I don't.
Yeah,
believe
it was crazy.
I don't.
Ugh. Okay.
So any gum you buy, it could have been chewed already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Let's just do that one today. We'll move on. That's enough for one day, I think.
Yeah.
For cringe.
Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully.
Let's talk about Gina Carano.
Yeah. There is a new update in Gina Carano, the Gina Carano wrongful termination lawsuit against Disney. And although she hasn't won the lawsuit in and of itself, she has had a small win. Because if you remember, we talked about Disney filing to dismiss her claims altogether. And I was worried because, you know, I looked into the judge. It's a California judge. You know, she's probably a lib. But she did actually rule in favor of Gina Carano's lawsuit and said she could have good reason to sue. So at Wednesday's hearing, a judge expressed skepticism that the Carano's lawsuit could be tossed before discovery is allowed to take place. She said, "I'm not convinced there are no disputed facts," in response to Disney's filing for dismissal. And this is obviously all revolving around the wrongful termination of The Mandalorian. And I was just giving this some thought today. Like, I didn't even know there was news about Gina Carano, but the fact that Alec Baldwin, let me say this carefully because we're on a live stream. Many people believe Alec Baldwin committed a premeditated murder on a Hollywood set.
Yeah.
And he is currently getting tons of opportunities and work, and his friends didn't drop him. Nobody denounced him. You know, everyone believed him at his word when he said that, you know, this was just a mistake. And he's got a new reality TV show about his family coming out before he's even on trial for manslaughter.
Yeah.
Now
he's
you
manifesting and not guilty verdict.
You see this for Alec Baldwin, this outcome for Alec Baldwin, who is in the fold. And then you see that Gina Carano was treated like subhuman trash for putting freaking beep bop boop in her Twitter bio.
I mean, having the wrong opinions is worse in Hollywood than anything else.
It just makes me short circuit
Yeah.
in anger. Like how, that's funny that I said that after Beep Bop Boop. But it, you know, there are so many other examples. There's a litany of examples of so many celebrities that have fucked up big time compared to what Gina Carano did. She didn't even do anything.
She didn't do anything.
And what she did or said wasn't even on set or while working. It was for her own personal social media on her personal time, which is what her lawyers were emphasizing. Her lawyer said nothing she said on the show or on set is being contested. It is all things that they saw on her personal profiles that they took issue with. And they say that may not matter, at least according to Disney. They claimed that there are broad liberties afforded to private speakers and what viewpoints they choose and don't choose to express. In a case dealing with free speech rights, the Supreme Court held that organizers of a parade had a constitutional right not to include in the event a group seeking to express a message they didn't want to convey. The organizer's decision to exclude a message it didn't like fell within its right as a private speaker to shape its expression by speaking on one subject by remaining silent.
Yeah.
So there's this precedent that Disney feels it can use to justify coming after her for what she said on her personal accounts, rather than while she's doing, for instance, doing a press interview for The Mandalorian or, posting something on an official account.
And everyone already
or a red
knows,
carpet interview.
And everyone already knows that this is not equally enforced amongst them. It has everything to do with what her actual opinions are and not to do with necessarily the press. Because if that was true, then they would be talking about Pedro Pascal and the very many list of social media posts that would have been considered incendiary to other people. So it's never evenly enforced. It's funny because if you were playing by their playbook, you should make it about, being sexism, right? Like,
well, they are
yeah.
actually. If you read through this lawsuit, guys, you will see that part of the claims are that this was gender-based discrimination.
Yeah.
And if I had to guess, I don't think Gina Carano genuinely believes that. But it's, you got to play by their rules if you want to win. You got to play dirty sometimes. And I mean, we know as well as she does that that's not really the heart of what's going on. It's political discrimination. 420 Funny sent a $20 super chat. Regarding your poll, I'm not fat. I'm in my bulking era. It's been 5 years.
5 years of bulking. Okay.
Just let us know when that cutting season is coming up. Good luck with that, bro. But Disney argued there's a First Amendment right for them to choose employees who properly convey their values, even when those choices would otherwise violate state anti-discrimination laws. And they listed a couple of cases that were related to this. Disney said the state can't force employers to engage in expressive activity. In Disney's case, movies and TV shows that convey its message through speakers like Gina Carano, who allegedly impair its ability to properly express its values, which it said include respect, integrity, and inclusion. The First Amendment claims, they claim, entitles it to protect Disney's speech in the Star Wars series from association with views that it and many viewers consider offensive and contrary to its message. They said the messenger is part of the message. Imagine if she made comments that she hates Jews or that there was no Holocaust. And they actually act like Gina Carano said those things. They're saying that she has views that dehumanize and degrade groups of people.
And the media is complicit in weaponizing this by never actually posting what she said, which no reasonable person could ever conclude to mean what they say it does. Meaning that she said, we don't like pulling it up. It was essentially the post that said, prior to the Holocaust, what happened, it didn't just happen in a vacuum, that people were dehumanized before it ever even happened. And that's what led to that level of persecution of another group of people, which was never aimed at any one person and should never be interpreted as anything antagonistic.
Well, they decided to interpret it as antagonistic because everyone's assumptions about what that implied for our contemporary political and social climate influenced how she was seen. That's not something she could ever have controlled.
Correct.
And that's anyone should know that's how social media works. You post something, you cannot control how people interpret it. You can't control what people think it's actually about. If you
actually one of the most
tweet
frustrating
something, they're like,
parts.
oh, I see that you're subtweeting this person, or I see you're trying to hide this, or whatever. They'll assume your intentions regardless.
It's one of the worst parts about social media is that you are bound to be misinterpreted, or the wrong thing is going to be focused on by at least one person on anything that you post, right? Another thing that's interesting to note is that Disney just dropped its federal appeal against Ron DeSantis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it says
I didn't hear
Disney
about that.
dropped its appeal on Thursday in its First Amendment lawsuit against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, officially ending the 2-year battle sparked by the company's opposition to the so-called Don't Say Gay law. Of course, we know that that's not what it was. The Parental Rights and Education Bill. Not the same thing, but you know.
And in Pride Month.
Politicians are going to politic. This move came after a state board approved a new 15-year development agreement, which will allow Disney to invest $17 billion to expand its Florida theme park. I was told that they were going to leave Florida, that they were going to pull out, not invest more money there.
Well, it's like all those people who said, I'm moving to Canada if Trump wins.
Exactly. So it says Walt Disney World is inextricably entwined in the fabric of the state of Florida, and the success of Walt Disney World is the success of Central Florida and vice versa, said Brian August Jr., a member of the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District at the meeting on Wednesday. This agreement provides a lasting, sustainable, and prosperous future for the district and for the people of the state of Florida and for the Walt Disney Company. So they're going to continue to work together, even if they don't agree with each other on
truce
any of that stuff.
For the sake of revenue.
For the sake of making some money.
Money can always bring people together.
It really can. It really. Oh, look, and the sad thing is for the most part, I have no problem with that. That's capitalism, you know?
I don't necessarily have a problem with it either.
Yeah, so.
But that's a good development in favor of Carano, and thankfully, unlike Kevin Spacey, she's not going to end up buried in legal fees because Elon is funding the whole thing.
Got that meme of like the person being pulled up from the water by the hand.
Yeah.
Do that. And she's on a media blitz. Like she's doing multiple appearances right now. She was just on with Russell Brand. That's available on Rumble. So it's very interesting. We'll have to see where it goes. Disney's got their own stuff to worry about this weekend. So Inside Out 2 comes out this weekend and looks like it's projecting to make at least a little bit of money. I don't know if it's going to make as much money as they would have hoped, but
not as much as the first.
It's getting fairly good reviews, and I think people. One of the things that I always point out is like, look, as mad as everyone is at these companies, people don't want to stay mad, and they're willing to give you the benefit of the doubt if you give them a reason to. And if you do enough good movies in a row, people might be willing to welcome you back. I don't think that's happening for Disney anytime soon. I think it would take a lot of really, really good faith efforts and a lot of really, really good movies in a row for that to ever happen. But the first day to start is now, so maybe you should get going.
Yeah.
There's a $20 there.
Let me see. Is it from
Skateman 210?
I'm waiting for it to show up. I don't see it yet.
Chair's there. I got chair there. Sorry about that, guys.
He said, "What's up, PCC? It's me again. Shout out to my fellow millennial dads who are still with the Sand Kids mom after 10 years. Happy Father's Day."
Sand Kid? What?
Sand Kids?
Sand Kids mom?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
But yeah, shout out to the millennial dads.
And happy early Father's Day to all the dads out there. And to my dad.
All right, let's move on and read these super chats. Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy freaking Friday, Brett and Mary. No, I'm not fat. How dare you? The trick is self-control." Why do I feel like I keep bringing up self-control lately?
Self-control is important.
Thank you. Well, how are the results so far?
Oh, let's look. 53% say yes, they are in fact fat.
That's not good. That's a majority. Guys, we got to get those numbers better. The crisis actors are skinny legends. Shane H. Wilder said, 1 tubby tubby, 2 tubby tubbies. We need to get Mary to watch Major Pain.
Yes, you should.
Should I?
Yes, it's a comedy.
Do you think I would like it?
I don't know. It's a comedy. It's like they don't often try to get you to watch comedies, do they?
I don't know, but you guys might be interested to know that I watched Beetlejuice for the first time last night and didn't care for it. It's gonna make everyone mad, but that's just because I hate everything. The practical effects were cool to see, though, and if they bring that back in the sequel, that would be nice. because they obviously have the option to just make it CGI slop. Pop Culture Junkie said, I've always been curious, is your money gun built to shoot money or is it a repurposed something else?
No, this is, I wonder if it'll show up on the PTZ here. Hold on. Yeah, you can see it there. That is
they're just
actually
from Amazon, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just
Thank you, Jeff Bezos.
Thanks, Jeff Bezos. I wouldn't be here without you. It's designed to shoot money. This is it's probably under the model stripper's best friend. I have no idea, but it's a money gun that usually runs with like a button, right? And it's been given a mode, it's basically been jerry-rigged to include a power source rather than the button.
Right.
So
it's definitely the least common usage of a money gun.
Yes.
Is our show, because usually it's just music videos, right?
So it's been done for
strip clubs.
So it's been set up to an automation system, so that way every time a super chat comes through on the sheet, it's tied to an Excel sheet, and the Excel sheet is tied to the YouTube channel,
which is
and
what
then
I'm looking at.
Triggers, and then it triggers it. So let's do one more.
Shane H. Wilder said, one does not discuss another person's money gun. Well, we just did.
We just did. All right, let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back here. It's like, time to talk about Naomi Campbell.
Yeah, this supermodel Naomi Campbell recently talked to Gen Z women, and she's telling these younger women not to do what she did and not delay starting their families until later in life. I just thought this was ironic coming from her, who had her first children at age 54 and chose to do so via surrogacy and chose to do so without a second parent, without a father in the household. And maybe she is making a tacit admission that she went about starting her family in a way that is not ideal, and that she wishes she went about it the more traditional way. Yep. She didn't really openly say that, but she is encouraging Gen Z women to do it the normative way, the natural or traditional, old-fashioned way, if that's what you would call it. So in a recent interview with The Times, she said, I have heard a lot of young girls saying that it's too expensive to have children and they may not want them. And I've said, you will change your mind. You will want to be a mom. I understand economically it is tough, but my mom had nothing and she made it work. It's worth it. It's so amazing. And this added, of course, that at age 54, she's been raising 2 children as a single parent by choice after birthing via surrogacy in 2021 and 2023. This is just a whole host of ethical problems.
Well, one of the biggest things that I see, not even just, we can get to the ethics, but one of the things right off the bat is it's giving Kim Kardashian just get up and work. So it's one thing. It's just because it's good advice doesn't mean people will accept good advice from somebody who they believe. It's like when somebody was like, there was like a comment the other day in the chat that said that I was like simping for rich people because I said rich people have their own problems, right? Just because you're getting good advice, a lot of people are going to ignore good advice when it comes from somebody from a different socioeconomic status than you because they feel that it's out of touch. And in a lot of ways they are, but somebody giving you generic advice of work harder isn't bad. It's just hard for people to accept it when it comes from someone who's got a lot of money, whose problems are just problems they don't personally understand.
And then you see Paris Hilton, who went about becoming a mom in the same way via surrogacy, treating her kid like some kind of accessory. Yeah. And I'm not saying that to be judgmental, but she said she changed her kid's diaper for the first time a month into his life. Yeah. And she's just making all of these parenting blunders on live TV. And I understand people are going to see more of your mistakes in the public eye, but it wouldn't have to be like that if you just, had gone about becoming a mom in the natural way rather than renting out another woman's womb. It sounds unflattering, but it is unflattering.
My point here was that when she's talking about it being economically tough, she's right, but that's true a lot of times, even if you're a young couple. Yeah. And then a lot of people still encourage you to say, yes, it will be economically difficult, but it will be rewarding, and it will be something that you will want to do.
We got a 20 from Brandon Harris. He said Disney would be better off if they put out a blanket STFU to their talent. Thanks to Kathleen, Kevin, Bree, Rachel, and Leslie. I think I'm done with the MCU and Star Wars.
You are. Let me go. Many such cases.
Well, you know, that would be better if everyone's First Amendment rights were taken away, not just some people. You know, equal enforcement. But, you know, it's interesting that she is reading it like this. I think she might be misreading Gen Z women's reasons for delaying family.
In what way?
Well, I remember...
She's not addressing climate change?
I seem to remember a stat that above 90% of Gen Z women say they want to have kids. And they feel they have reasons that are outside of their control. A lot of them are economic, but there are also just cultural stigmas and a lot of people coming from broken families who don't believe that it's possible. Like on a more metaphysical level, people who also are not religious, who really don't see the point in, you know, continuing the human race, and they don't see any eternal significance to it. There's also more stupid and vain reasons, like they don't want to gain weight when they're pregnant, which is why surrogacy is becoming a more attractive option.
Yeah.
Just, you know, the market demand for it is getting higher. And
so you think she's got a very narrow idea of why they're not attracted to the idea of having kids?
Yeah, especially because she is super wealthy.
Yeah. And again, it's look, just because I believe that everybody's got their own problems and that's a universal truth doesn't mean that it's not very, very difficult for the average person to take advice from somebody who lives such a vastly different world than you live in.
And by the way, like if you're a single mom, for the majority of those cases, it's probably because of, you know, your relationship not working out for some reason, like divorce, or maybe, you know, a lot of fathers don't even know that they have kids out there, you know, for instance. But I think it's especially egregious for someone to plan out this entire process of conceiving a child in a lab with a sperm donor and putting it in another woman's womb to gestate, and then buying it off her seconds after birth, which is already just on a biological level so traumatic to the baby. And then from that point on, choosing for them to be fatherless. It's not just an economic reason that kids need fathers. It's built into them.
There's decades and decades of propaganda that tells them that men aren't necessary in the home.
Like, it's not just a money thing. It's not just having dual income that matters. They need fathers for all sorts of psychological and spiritual reasons.
There is nothing in society right now that tells anybody that is true. There's no, let me rephrase that. There's no part
fathers
of,
are necessary.
There is no part of mainstream society that tells people in any way that is true.
Yep.
It is true. It is obfuscated by the media.
And similarly, they need mothers.
Yes.
You know, this is just something that's taboo to say. But nonetheless, Naomi said, I hope for a better world for my children. They are 110% my priority. I have to be there for them on their first day at school. My babies are everything to me. It's made me fear for the future. At 54, she's saying this. I mean, it's just wild to think that you're going to be, you know, you're not going to be alive to see your grandchildren 100%. Like, you're not going to be there to maybe even see them graduate college, graduate high school. I don't know.
Al Pacino's like, hold my beer, having a kid at 87.
I mean, yeah, like, hopefully she lives a long life and gets to be with her children as long as humanly possible. But obviously, starting out in your mid-50s.
She's going to be able to see them graduate college.
Starting out in your mid-50s, though,
she's going to live
is not the ideal circumstance. No. And I hope that that's what she's trying to convey to younger women. But she's like posing on this magazine cover with her baby.
She also feels comfortable talking about Gen Z's. She's complimenting them on their ability to talk about mental health. You see that?
Yeah, she talked up therapy big time.
They love to talk up therapy. Young people feel comfortable to come out and share that they have a problem. Before, you were considered crazy or self-obsessed if you said, I am going to see a psychologist or psychiatrist or a shrink. That is ignorant. There's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing wrong in bettering your quality of life. There's nothing wrong in going to rehab to recover, she said. Look, those are vastly different things. Okay.
I didn't know that she ever talked about addiction issues or anything like that.
So rehab and therapy often go hand in hand, especially if you're seeking inpatient therapy and then you go to outpatient therapy afterwards. You go to a halfway house and something like that. A lot of times therapy is very much baked into those programs. But when she's talking about therapy being one of those things where you were considered self-obsessed, we do have a certain level of self-obsession with therapy now. It's why there's so much therapy speak in everyday lingo when we talk.
Yeah, that's only going to become more prevalent. All right, let's go to Super Chats. The last of my kind said, eat trash, lift heavy, trash pandas unite. You mean you're a human raccoon, basically?
That's me.
A serious man said, Brat and Amy are my favorite PCC hosts.
How do you feel about Amy?
That doesn't even sound like my name.
Not even close.
The Rumbling said, damn it, Mary, quit disparaging the military. We use fuck like it going out of style. So let's go Deadpool. Hi, Brett. Okay, me disparaging Deadpool 3 is not me disparaging the military, just so we're clear.
How did we get here, she says.
I don't know how we got to that conclusion, but it's just not my style of humor.
Let's do one more.
Bookstore Thor said, hi, Mary, I saw Saturn on the highway doing 5 under. Well, that's all it can do at this point. It's an aging vehicle.
Let's do the one from Jim Director.
He said, great, recommend Almost Paradise, Samantha Richard?
Yeah.
Holy hell. Brett, we need an industry pod with you interviewing showrunners like Dean Devlin, etc. Screw your free time. We need content.
I would love to be able to talk to Dean Devlin about all of the shows that he's made that are just masterpieces in light entertainment. And yeah, Samantha, the funny thing is about Samantha Rochelle, she has no other acting credits. She's like a fitness, she's like a lifestyle influencer on Instagram and has like the one role of doing Almost Paradise. Like maybe she does some stage stuff. But when you cast somebody like that, it's really funny because every time she's on the show, I'm like, cops don't dress like that. I don't think she's allowed to wear that. Like, I mean, most of the time they're not dressed.
It's like a spirit Halloween cop.
It's like, I was like, I think that shirt is a little tight, and I think there's a little too much shoulder and cleavage. I just probably not. Like there was this one scene where she's like going to interview this widow of this woman who died. I'm like, that's inappropriate. I love it.
They wouldn't do that?
Like, no. It's I was like, maybe it's different in the Philippines. The show takes place in the Philippines, so maybe it's just different in the Philippines. But I laugh because it's awesome. You should go and watch that show.
Okay.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on then, shall we? Let's talk about Pam Anderson.
Yeah, more on the topic of aging. A new video came out of Pamela Anderson where she is promoting this skincare line that she started. And she's kind of notorious at this point for becoming anti-makeup. And she did this whole stint of going out into red carpet events with no makeup, which you really don't see on anybody.
If there was one reason to roll your eyes at this, it's not what to say about her. She's still a beautiful woman. It's that she's doing it on purpose to make some type of social point.
I think that
about not wearing makeup.
She has strong opinions about like the toxins that are in makeup and stuff like that. I'm sure Alex Clark would love to have her on the spillover and talk about it.
Let's watch this video.
She put out this video, and the caption here is, "This used to be the hottest woman in the world."
Guys, I just want to point out, if you go look back at old pictures of Pamela Anderson, she just isn't wearing eyeshadow or
she
lashes.
She doesn't look all that different.
And she's just doesn't have bangs, and she's got a little bit of a bigger forehead than the average person. So that's what you're seeing. Her hair is pushed back rather than bangs that kind of hide that. So let's watch the video. Nope, no song getting me a copyright strike.
We're not going to be listening to the song. It's not great, like, lighting.
She's also like right in the sun.
Yeah,
She's actually not trying to look.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Right, which is fine. Like,
yeah.
She is trying to promote this idea of realness and aging gracefully or embracing aging naturally. And she doesn't look like she has, a ton of preventative work on her face. She doesn't look like one of these people who's full of Botox.
If I was to say that there was a cringe aspect to it, it would be like going to the Met Gala with no makeup is very clearly like a weird socio-political statement.
I thought that she wore makeup at the Met Gala, but not a different award show. It was like a fashion
some award show. She didn't wear any makeup on her face, which is very clearly a cringe political statement. wear makeup to the events that require
Is it a
makeup.
political statement?
Yes, it is. It's
What was the
It's a
political
socio-political
statement?
statement on the objectification of women and the male gaze and
But men always say
unrealistic
that they
beauty
don't want
standards.
women to wear makeup.
Doesn't
so she
it?
did
Yeah, but
what men want.
She's in an industry of people that aren't like that. She's not talking about the regular people. She's talking about the people in Hollywood that often get conflated with regular people.
Well-
meaning that she's talking about unrealistic beauty standards.
Would it be some kind of socio-political statement for a female celebrity to allow their hair to go gray?
Yes, and there are ones that do that too. There's plenty of
Would it be a socio-political statement for them
In Hollywood,
to
it would be.
not get, plastic surgery or fillers in their face?
It would
like
be
at a
to talk
certain
about
point, you're just existing. And to say that there's some kind of socio-political stance being made is almost...
My point is that it's at an event that very clearly is supposed to involve makeup and doing makeup looking a certain way.
Sure.
It's like going to an event
Sure.
that's black tie and wearing jeans and a t-shirt and saying, I'm against the cost of a tie and a suit. I can't afford that, so I'm going to wear something different to make a statement. Not wearing makeup to an event where everybody else is getting dressed up is supposed to be a statement of some sort.
So makeup is like the unspoken formal dress code for women.
I mean,
basically.
if you're at an event like that, yeah, that's what you do. You get dressed up and you put on your makeup.
Yeah.
The men put on a suit and do their hair. It'd be like going there and like just bedhead,
Right.
just rolling out of
Right.
bed.
Yeah.
Even when people talk about that, and they talk about dudes who show up and they call and they're like the dude looks like he
John
just rolled out of-
Fetterman wearing a blazer
Yeah.
over his hoodie with
Well, I mean, isn't that
sneakers
something
and-
that people bring up because he's wearing something that's not
They do,
acceptable
yes.
for the environment?
Yes. But I think that, mainly what she cares about is the fact that makeup is full of, toxins that are probably bad for your skin, are probably aging you and probably seeping into your bloodstream. And I know way less about that than she does and other people know. But in the context of her filming herself in what looks like her bedroom, doing her skincare routine, I don't expect her to look like a bombshell. And especially because she's using this as an opportunity to promote the product. And this person pointed out this used to be the hottest woman in the world. Is that something that people agreed upon?
Yes.
That she was
was
the
universally seen as the sex symbol of an entire era.
Well, who is it now?
I think there's too many Instagram thoughts for that to be one specific person.
It's like too saturated of a market now, I guess.
It would have been maybe for Gen Z it would be like Madison Beer or something like that. I don't know. But
Sydney Sweeney? Maybe.
She existed. She was famous at a time when the media was much more consolidated and you were given a sex symbol, right? You were presented. So she was on Baywatch.
They created it.
She
for
did, yes.
you.
She was on Baywatch. She did Barbed Wire. She had her sex tape.
Right.
She had all of these things that made her she did Playboy and all that stuff. She was a sex symbol, the sex symbol of an entire era.
Another person replied, humans age. And the original poster said, they should stop that. Like, I almost
wouldn't that be
respect
nice?
the just rejection
Wow,
of
they looked into
reality.
fixing that?
Like, there are people trying to, push this transhumanist philosophy that no one should age and no one should ever deteriorate and we should all just live forever, upload our consciousness to a computer. But we're not really there yet. And I don't think it's such a terrible thing for someone to age gracefully, age naturally, and not hide it in a pathetic way. I mean, we were just talking about that yesterday with all of these women in their early 20s aging themselves with filler and Botox all over their face. It's making them look older, yes, but they only did it in the first place because we don't worship youth in this culture. I think we just fear death. Like, there's just something really sick and vain about today's culture that would make even an 18-year-old start doing preventative Botox.
I don't think that's fear of death. I think it's worship of youth. I do.
Yeah. But for none of the right reasons, because you're doing all these things that are associated with fertility, and yet there's a war on it.
We talk all the time about the infantilization of an entire generation, how you're considered a kid basically until you get to 30 these days. And I think that's a huge part of it is nobody wants to grow up.
Also, in the midst of this discussion about what women do to maintain their looks. I saw a tweet that broke down the costs of a well-maintained, attractive woman in any large U.S. city. And you're going to be shocked. Hair, $400 every 2 to 3 months at least. Facials, $200 to $300 a month. Fitness, $200 to $400 a month. Cosmetics, $100 to $300 a month. Nails, $100 plus a month. Brows, $15 to $40 a month. Waxing and laser, $100 to $150 a month. Med spas, $1,000 every 3 months at least. And that doesn't even include clothes or shoes.
It's like when every so often, like there's this discourse around why men have to pay on the first date, and the women do the thing where they
and this is what they list,
where they list all the stuff it costs, and the guy's like, "Well, I'm picking you up in my car. Like my car costs more than your makeup routine. Does that count? How about we go Dutch?"
Yeah,
it's a hilarious thing for people to argue about.
I look at this list.
That's extremely vain.
A lot of it is also just stupid. Like, I am somebody who cares. Like, I am very particular about the way that I want to look, and I get my hair done pretty frequently, at least once a month. But as for the rest of this, like, I get my nails done maybe like every few weeks. Med spas are just places you go to get lip injections. You should stop doing that anyway, because that's an insane amount of money to spend on looking ugly and old. Waxing and lasering, completely unnecessary. Eyebrows, you should not have caterpillars on your face. Take care of them yourself. Nails should not cost you $100+ a month unless you're getting long fake ones. And, you know, men really don't favor that. I've gotten them before, and I knew that men didn't like acrylic nails. I did it genuinely for me, knowing that men hate it. But if we're talking about what it takes to be attractive, we're talking about attracting men. Cosmetics, you don't need to be buying hundreds of dollars of makeup a month and skincare a month. That is insane. Fitness, you do not need a gym membership to not be fat and to be fit. You can do that on your own at home in the world. You do not need to go to Equinox. Facials, spending hundreds of dollars a month on facials is completely unhinged. I don't understand why that would be part of someone's monthly routine. Like, it would be one thing if you took any one of these out of the list and you just said, like, this is my thing. But having it all put together as just the basic bare minimum expectation for a woman to be attractive, it essentially means that you're not attractive and you need all of these things to be marginally attractive. And usually we can see through that.
Because you're starting behind the 8 ball if you need all that stuff.
Yeah. And as for the hair, that's the one I am most sympathetic to because I do get my hair professionally done. However, it does not cost me $400. So maybe that's just in US, like big cities in the US that costs that much.
There's
Around here, no.
$20 one there.
He said, Mary, bring back the long acrylic claws. I am not going to do that. It was very painful. But it's also painful to know that there are women out there this delusional.
I mean, I see that, and I just see a lot of vanity and a lot of narcissism and a lot of high maintenance that I wouldn't be attracted to.
Yeah, it has like signals about what kind of personality that you have.
Exactly.
You know,
there's a disconnect between what somebody what a man might think of as sexually attractive and attractive in a sense of somebody they would actually want to be in a relationship with and, you know, have a family with. Those are very different things a lot of the time.
And it's really not a problem for a woman to care how she looks. Like you should. Everyone should,
yes, you
really. Should. But this is just beyond overkill. I don't even know how people have the money for this. In this economy, you're spending thousands of dollars on injectables in your face.
In this economy?
In Bidenomics? No thanks.
All right, let's go super chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, I'm also annoyed at the streaming services giving Netflix a couple of seasons. Then you need another service like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Evil.
Yeah,
licensed stuff.
Evil is on Paramount Plus now. Yeah, I mean that's annoying, and a lot of times they make those agreements before the new season airs and stuff like that. It's a mess when stuff gets spread out across a bunch of different services. The best thing you can do is like wait till a show's done and then watch it all on one place.
Yeah. Shane H. Wilder, Biden tried to sniff the Pope at G7 BTW. WTF. Wait, is that real?
I saw a picture that said that, and it was like a picture of, I guess it does look like that, but you know.
Someone get this man. DCNC said, poll, does fatty chungus count?
So if fat is bad and chungus is good, what is a fatty chungus?
Maybe next time we'll have a poll that asks you if you're a chungus and not elaborate. Corey Anderson said, Alex Clark is a bad biatch.
Alex Clark is awesome.
If that's a good thing, I agree. Gen X Memories said, enjoy watching your videos. Smiley face.
Well, thank you.
Everyone is just being so nice today. Shane H. Wilder said, Walmart cringe. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I mean,
just cocaine powdered donuts.
Let's do one more.
Frothing at the mouth. Miss Ray said the channel China Fakes Everything covers fake food. Don't buy Chinese produce.
Okay, there you go.
Are we getting produce from China? I thought it was like mostly from
China,
like Central America. I don't know. I could be totally wrong.
All right, let's move on then. Let's go ahead and let's talk about casting decisions right now.
Yeah, the last time that we talked about the Avatar: The Last Airbender live action series was to say to everyone, representation doesn't matter. Because not only are they making this live action series, they're also making animated series related to The Last Airbender content and using this IP for all that it's worth and more. They decided to cast a blind Asian voice actress for Toph in a future project, meaning you're not going to see this person. So why is her voice being represented important?
Because she will need to be blind to truly identify with the character. How could she understand what it's like to be that character if she hasn't been through the same struggle? And that's almost like she'd be acting.
The DEI is not giving what it used to give. Philip Reed said, I found the messier the bathroom counter, the messier the self-esteem. Not always, but a good barometer.
I like the meme that says like, it's like, how hard is it to put the, it's disrespectful not to put the toilet seat down. And it says her bathroom counter. And it's just an explosion of product and hair straighteners. And
thankfully mine is small, so I don't even have the chance to make it messy. But yeah, I guess that you need to hear someone's Asian blind voice to feel seen in the media that you watch.
The funny thing is this concept has been going on in Hollywood for decades. This is nothing new. The idea that you could uniquely understand a character. I almost wonder if it was just born out of the desire to sound good during the interview portion of the press tour. Right?
For sure. And this specifically is about the second season of Netflix's live action series. They're looking to cast the character Toph, who is blind in the show. And here's what they said in their casting call. Seeking the role of Toph, character is mid to late teens, blind, female, Asian. First off, what's weird to me is that this character is not in her mid to late teens. She's 12. If I recall correctly.
Well, they're probably aging her up on purpose.
Why? Like, why are they... If you can change her age, why are you not changing anything else about her, like her race? Like, it's totally arbitrary.
It's always been arbitrary.
They said she is sassy, confident, and unfiltered. For most of her life, her strength and formidable earthbending skills have been suppressed. Now on the run as the Avatar's earthbending master, she is uninhibited to become the fierce warrior she believes she is inside. Dance and or martial arts experience is a plus. Shooting anticipated for fall 2024. They put this in bold, big letters. Actors who are blind or low vision are encouraged to submit.
Does that mean I could go for it?
Yeah.
I can't see shit.
No, but what's going to happen is people are going to start like acid attacking themselves to be blind so that they can get Hollywood roles.
Look, it's already a thing.
Thank you.
There's already the cases of people who have handicapped themselves because they were desperate to feel special.
Yup. And what do you think this encourages? Like, this is putting your, ability status or disability status on the top of the totem pole when it comes to considering you for this job, and not considering whether you are the best at acting.
Correct.
Which is the most important thing. I understand, casting someone who's the right age, obviously the right gender, the right race, for instance. The blind part is really just the most outlandish to me.
Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock is one of my favorite performances, at least in the last 10 years. That show came out in 2015.
Who played Augie in Covert Affairs?
Augie was played by Christopher Gorham.
This is yet another blind character played by a sighted actor.
Yep.
Perfectly good performance. Why is it a problem? Does being blind put you in a community? I'm genuinely asking.
Yes.
I'm genuinely asking.
I'm not saying like whether I agree. I'm saying that to that, just like being deaf, yeah, they consider that a community. And look, when you have unique struggles that are hard for other people to understand or identify with, it's very common for people with those struggles to band together and try to form some type of coalition to allow them to better, relate to other people. I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with that. The problem is when corporations start pandering to such a thing where it doesn't necessarily need to be. There was a character, it wasn't a main character, but there was a character in the show Las Vegas who was worked in the surveillance department, up in the camera room, who was he was an actor in a wheelchair. He was, I think he was a paraplegic, and he's one of the best parts of the show. He's not in every episode, but he always goes back and forth with everyone, and they all play jokes on each other. They all make jokes about each other, and it was great because it wasn't front and center. They didn't make weird sappy storylines out of the fact that he was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
He was just a guy. And that's what people want to see. People want to see something that feels true to life. And most of the time, what that means is handling your circumstances and not letting it define every aspect of you.
Right. And that type of
That's not necessarily relevant to this story. It is more relevant.
Well, no, it is, because that seems to be exactly the type of pandering that Netflix is doing with this. I didn't finish the first season of this show because I just knew that it was going to be shit, and it was. I watched the first episode and was like, peace out. It doesn't cause me any pain to be missing out on this. But I also saw there was an announcement about the live action Moana, which we passed by earlier. They cast a girl to play Moana in the live action alongside The Rock. And of course, what was most important is that she is actually Hawaiian, actually Pacific Islander. Therefore, nobody is going to get offended that she is representing this community wrongly.
The look is pretty spot on for her.
Of course.
She looks spot on.
I'm not saying at all that she was a bad choice. Of course, she was a good choice. She looks adorable, and she looks like the character, and I'm sure she's talented and all that. And it makes total sense, of course, for her to be the same race as this character. Of course. But if it were like that across the board, that would change things. Yep. And the fact that this is being emphasized in the first press statement, it just says a lot about where their values lie. She said, "I'm really excited to embrace this character. I'm honored to have an opportunity to celebrate Samoa and all Pacific Island peoples and to represent young girls who look like me."
The look like me part is very cliche, but I mean, in the movie Moana, I mean, her culture is actually a huge part of the story. So I guess
I never watched it, so I don't know.
The first part makes sense, but
okay, but tell me how Snow White's culture in the original folktale was not important to her story. That's just erasing any white person's culture.
What's going to happen? I think what will end up happening is for the last several decades, the shows that are being whitewashed, or in this case, are being race swapped and all of these things, they're from generations from the people doing it now, the millennials or the now I guess maybe even Gen Z people, the millennial people that are advocating for these race swaps haven't had their childhood properties destroyed yet. So when the stuff that they really liked, I remember there was this article written from a major left-wing outlet that was pissed about the supposed Buffy the Vampire Slayer race swap. And it's now you will see what it's like when something you like gets messed with.
It depends. I think that the affluent white female liberals
Are more self-hating now than they were
They
before?
really love that shit. Like, millennial women grew up with something like The Little Mermaid that came out in the 80s. They grew up with that, and they loved to see race swap
it didn't
Ariel.
do the,
like,
it didn't
they
do the
loved
money
that.
they would have liked.
It didn't make the money, but I didn't hear a single peep from the liberal white women who love Disney saying that they were unhappy with this decision. The most we've heard of that is the talk about race swapping Rapunzel from Tangled.
Yeah.
And that was more like Gen Z women saying, like, I finally wanted to see, like, just one white blonde princess, but I guess everyone has to be a different race now.
Yep.
Like, that was the only pushback I've seen
You want to know how you avoid it?
so far.
You want to know how you avoid it?
How?
You find properties that have absolutely zero social cachet and has no benefit to the point of doing this, as everyone knows, is that it is a form of cultural conquest. It is done specifically for the sake of changing the race most of the time, right? And the way that you avoid that is you seek out properties where they don't see any value in going after that IP. So the things that don't have the cultural relevance get, for the most part, left alone, or can be left alone, or are done a little bit more fairly. So go and seek out things that you just know that
Do you have an
people aren't gonna-
example?
Of where that would happen, I don't know. I can't think of off the top of my head one that would be. But I mean, there's lots of shows that, like, if they like there's tons of shows that I love that someday will probably end up getting. God willing, all those USA Network shows that I like will get remade, and they will race swap Michael Weston and Burn Notice. I'm sure that will happen, right? But you know,
Yeah.
it's
the best way to avoid it, though, is make your own thing.
There you go.
That's your job.
It's all, the funny thing is by doing that, you also end up earning a lot more goodwill from people because they're just excited that you're trying something new. But as we've seen with the way things are going right now, when you try to make your own thing, nobody goes.
Yeah.
Nobody went. And the funny thing is, we always use
Unfortunate.
Fall Guys, an example of that. It's not even its own thing. It was still based off an 80s TV show, but
Might as well not have been,
Might-
because
yeah.
literally no one had heard of it.
But in general, people aren't showing up to the. Oh, okay. I'll give you an example. Like, look, if we're talking about the revenge action movie, that's still Liam Neeson and Aaron Eckhart and just old white guys. And I guess Keanu Reeves isn't an old white guy, but like
Somewhat
he's half white or
white and somewhat old.
But the point is like the old man action trope is still done in that way. Jason Statham. Right? So that's for the most part left alone. That's why Terminal List is Chris Pratt.
and Ryan Gosling is still Ryan Gosling.
and
Tom
Reacher was
Cruise is
left
still
alone.
Tom Cruise.
So you find stuff that you like and you hope to God that nobody at Amazon or Netflix or any of these people thinks, what can we do to this?
Do you, you know what? Never mind. I'll ask you that after the show.
Okay. I'm sure that was perfectly acceptable. It's I'm sure it's
Yeah.
not controversial at all. All right. Let's go to Super Chats.
DCNC said Gina should have posted a selfie with R2D2.
Beep bop boop.
It's a lesbian representation, right? R2D2 is a lesbian. That's what I heard.
In the chat, Courier626 says Beekeeper was good. Beekeeper, yeah, and also The Bricklayer with Aaron Eckhart, which was really stupid, and I had an absolute blast watching him, kill people with the equipment that you use to lay bricks. It was amazing.
Shane H. Wilder said never apologize for Chair.
Sorry about that. Oh, wait.
We're proud of Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
No shame in that.
Thank you, Chair.
Corey Anderson said, I'm sorry for my weight, Mary. I have a torn rotator cuff and a back procedure coming up in July. I promised to lose the 10 pounds since my injuries. I mean, you don't need to be sorry to me about anything. This was just my idea for a poll. I hope nobody's having an existential crisis over
Somebody
it.
in the chat, right when you posted that, said maybe Mary told Brett he's getting husky, and he asked this question out of self-consciousness.
That did not happen. No.
There's a 20 there.
Crispy Like Transport said, I missed last week, but the song of the day is Man of Steel, Hans' original sketchbook from Man of Steel.
Hans Zimmerman. I recently had The Dark Knight on in the background, and I actually stopped for a minute and just go, fuck, the score in this movie is good. Like, seriously. Like,
the idea of watching that in the background of anything is weird to
I
me.
mean, I've
but-
seen it so many times that I just had it on while I was doing other stuff. But it's the scene where Joker has the knife in what's his name's mouth, and he's telling the story, and then he cuts him, and that whole score building up to that part as the music just gets more and more intense is just incredible. And any of the establishing shots with the soaring score is just it's just so damn good.
DCNC said Chris Poole is an Excel chungus.
He is.
Cool. Pat the Plumber said, I actually think Mary would like Major Payne. Y'all said that about Buffy, though. I don't know what to believe.
It's a movie. You should watch it.
It's a movie. It's definitely a movie.
It's a good movie. You should watch it.
Gordon Shumway said, Mary, how can you disparage the military when there is a genocide in Gaza?
Exactly.
I don't know how I do it.
Who
Not
would go
that
to
John
hell?
Stewart said, am I fat as I sit here eating a pint of ice cream? I mean, I do that.
Do you do that?
It's, yeah, like I love having a whole pint of ice cream at once.
Let's hold off on this. Do you want to talk about? You want to do a couple of these?
Well, we do have some extra time on
Yeah.
our hands. I just thought, why not reach the bottom of the barrel today and go use Reddit for content?
You wanted to do an Am I the Asshole?
Yeah, because, I don't know, this should just be like a fun thing that we do sometimes. How do you feel about it?
You can pick which one we talk about here, because you had a
Okay.
bunch of them.
Well, actually, speaking of the poll subject matter, am I the a-hole for not getting my girlfriend a pastry because she's on a diet? This was good.
You'll have
This
to read more
immediately got me.
detail. You'll have to read more
Okay.
detail.
My girlfriend of 2 years is an absolutely gorgeous, stunning woman. I love every inch of her. He's making her sound
He's
fat.
going real far out of his way here.
And don't think anything needs to change. Over the past few months, she went through a really rough time and as a result ditched her exercise and healthy eating habits. As a result of overeating junk food, she put on about 10 pounds. While I tell her every day that she's beautiful and mean it, she is uncomfortable and 2 weeks ago started talking about how she wants to cut out junk food, start exercising again, and go back to her baseline weight. I support her efforts to return to healthy habits. Last week on my way home from work, as I often do, stopped at my favorite bakery in the city. I usually stop at least once per week, and while in the past I would always pick up something for myself and my girlfriend, this time I only got something for myself because she's been vocal about how she will cut out pastries. I got myself a big cinnamon roll with cream cheese glaze. I love how he added that completely unnecessary fact. When I got home, she saw the bakery bag and asked, "What did you get?" I had to admit that I didn't get anything for her since she said she wants to cut out pastries. She got upset and said I should have texted her when I'm in the bakery and asked if she wanted anything. I said I just didn't think she would since she's been so vocal about wanting to cut out certain foods. She then said I shouldn't have gotten anything for myself either, since now I'm just flaunting it and making her feel fat. She cried a lot and she's still a bit cold towards me. I'm genuinely confused.
She's the bad guy here.
Yeah.
Because if he did, basically, he could argue, look, you want me to listen. I've clearly been listening to what you said. You said you wanted to cut out pastries. Wouldn't it have been flaunting if I called you and made you go on the spot and tell me you didn't want one rather than give you that option? I acknowledge that I knew what you said beforehand and I stuck to that agreement.
It sounds like he would have been the bad guy no matter what he chose to do.
Correct.
And I don't know why people have to involve others in their diets and their weird diet plans. Like, people just love talking about it. If you're at dinner with someone and they're on a diet, you know they're going to mention it and they're going to look at your food weirdly. And I just never understood that mess. Like, it's your business and yours only.
If he really wanted to be the asshole, he would have bought another one, but had it be for him.
Right. I got 2 cinnamon rolls, babe, but they're both for me.
That's what he should have done.
And he's be like, I'll leave the leftover one, and
clearly,
you cannot touch it.
And she'll get away with this because she'll be like, look, I was grumpy because my blood sugar is low and I'm going through food withdrawals. You have to love me anyways, honey.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like a healthy relationship, but at least she cares. There are plenty of people in relationships with someone who just doesn't care, totally lets themselves go. And it's the stereotype that you get like comfortable in a relationship, and the sign of that, the sign of like truly being in love, is that you both get fat because you don't care about being attractive anymore, which is insane.
You should care anyways.
Yeah, like you should care anyways, and it's not about like, oh, I'm trying to like be hot for everyone else so that I like can still leave you. It's not about that.
What can happen is then you'll start feeling less comfortable in your own body, and that will put a strain on the relationship.
Definitely, yeah.
Because you'll be self-conscious.
Yeah.
And that's never a good thing.
Also, I think she also like feels worse about it because he's not fat and she's the one who got fat. Yeah. It's not like something that they would be like, we're going to work out together. Yeah. It's like, well, it was your fault.
Also, him being supportive is probably even worse for her because he's not giving her an actual reason to be mad.
Well, she secretly wanted him to be like, you're not fat. What are you talking about? Like, I love you even more now with the extra 10 pounds.
More to love.
And him saying, I love every inch of her just makes it sound like it's worse than it is to me. Maybe that's just my interpretation of it, but...
He had to give her, he's like, and I got a cinnamon roll with cream cheese glaze.
I saw it was like, it's a red flag if you call yourself fat and your boyfriend or husband says, me too, instead of being like, no, you're not.
Like, this is relationship shit testing.
Yeah, like I think even white lies like that are not a good idea because the lies are just going to keep, piling up after that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Should we do more?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll just cut it off now and we'll do more in the future if you guys find that to be entertaining content.
Look, it's in this case it was very clear who in my opinion,
I want to find the really contentious ones because like people always post these thinking I'm the one in the right. I just need everyone to affirm me that I'm right. I hope to find more contentious ones in the future.
All right, let's finish up these super chats and we'll hang out.
Gordon Shumway said, if you really want to see Pamela Anderson looking different, look at a picture of what she looked like before she was discovered. There is where you can see all the work she's had on herself.
She had a lot of plastic surgery, so.
Yeah, it looks like she at the very least had like a rhinoplasty, things like that. Shane H. Wilder said, everyone with an IQ above room temp, humans age, average Redditor, press X'd out. They should just stop aging. They should become trans age.
Have we fixed that yet?
I will just 75 said, I'm not fat, I'm big boned. Do people say that still?
I don't know. Cartman said that.
Or really these days they say, I'm fat and here's why that's a good thing.
And it's totally fine.
And here's why you should find me attractive.
And you know why that's okay, Mary? Because what I'm doing as Fatty McFatterson is I'm tearing down systematic oppression of non-conventional beauty types. And that's a good thing. Because those systems need to be dismantled.
Dismantle systems.
Dismantle systems of systemic oppression. I'm a loser.
I am in a fat mood, though, because I saw on the Review of the Week channel that Review Bra did a video about Chick-fil-A's new sandwich. Mm-hmm. It's like the maple pepper bacon chicken sandwich, which is a mouthful, literally and figuratively.
Sounds good.
And I really want it, but it's a Friday. I have to wait until tomorrow.
Well, I always got to release this stuff on a Friday.
Do any of you guys watch Review of the Week, by the way? Let me know. It's a niche thing, but he has millions of subscribers, so it's not really niche anymore. Shane H. Wilder said, the Biden trying to sniff the Pope is real. I quote tweeted the video because the Pope looked disgusted. Like he was about to say, stop with the
tree.
Italian
yeah.
gay slur, whatever he said. Yeah, that's, I don't know if I even want to see that. Sorenko Production said, how the F is a blind person supposed to see this ad?
It's a very good question.
There are technologies for that, right?
We can rebuild them. We have the technology.
We have the technology. Corey Anderson said, have you seen the video of the LA council member removing no U-turn signs because they are homophobic?
Yes.
Yes, it's real. Sent the link to the PCC Instagram.
I saw it earlier.
Do you want to talk about this? Because it was kind of throwing you for a loop. If you know
I
what
just
mean.
didn't know. I don't have it pulled up here, but I did have it earlier. But I just laughed because I said, like, look, is there something behind that
Wait,
lingo?
so what's the sign? What's
It was a U. It was a U.
It's
you
just
know,
the
no
U.
U-turn.
It's
like
just
the
that.
U and it's crossed out. And I don't know what about that is anti-gay.
Is it like shaped like someone bending over?
I have no idea. I did see that though, and I have no idea why that's anti-gay.
Wait, I need to understand this.
It was on Clown World today.
What was her explanation for it?
I don't know.
LA takes down no U-turn signs over homophobia. This has got to be fake, right?
Like at least on the Clown World channel, it said this is not satire.
Okay, I'm seeing a theory here. No U-turn signs were installed with no cruising signs in Silver Lake in 1997 to target and persecute the LGBT community, supposedly.
So no cruising signs. What does that have to do with?
It has like a specific history that these two signs together in one place had a
Okay.
secret code meaning. It says this type of homophobia persisted in Silver Lake 30 years after the Black Cat protests, and the physical remnants of that bigotry remained on our streets until yesterday.
With a U-turn sign. With a no U-turn sign.
I've never heard this before. This has got to be satire. It says councilwoman may be a girl. Like, that's fake, right? This whole thing is fake. It's got to be. Right?
I have no idea.
I know that they're crazy, but I don't know if they're
Somebody in the
that
chat says it's not fake, it's
crazy.
California.
This person is literally named maybe a last name girl. Okay, like I'm not sure I'm gonna buy this.
So it says, in the late 90s, when the internet was still new and gay dating apps like Grindr did not exist, queer men sometimes relied on printed guidebooks that listed public areas where they could find love, sex, and community without outing themselves. Among those areas was West Hollywood, where anti-gay traffic signs similar to the ones removed Monday were installed in 1991 and later removed.
Okay, so like this was messages like no cruising, no U-turns, midnight to 6 a.m. were posted around the Silver Lake neighborhood with the intent to curb gay men from roaming the streets to hook up.
Okay.
That's what they say. I guess that they roamed the streets instead of using the Grindr app back then, you know?
Yep. So it's
I honestly don't see anything wrong with that. Right? Like, they're just putting up signs.
but of course that's not what a U-turn sign means now. So this is performative, and this is what your tax dollars are being used for ceremonies where they take down no U-turn signs.
Okay. I really didn't buy it at first, but I guess it's real. Okay. Shane H. Wilder said, how are blind people going to read the flyer? Yes. I mean, they'll have to tell you. I don't know. Yurishima Otaru said, Avatar was lightning in a bottle. Yeah, I mean, even the first season or maybe two of The Legend of Korra was okay. Honestly, just the first season was okay. And it was still like pre-current year, if I recall correctly. So they were able to make something that wasn't just dog shit. But after that, it was really cringe. And they haven't done anything right with it since then. Surinko Productions said, beat you to it, Shane. The Last of My Kind said, the movie In Time, everyone stopped aging at 25.
Yeah, that's the Justin Timberlake one.
I actually watched that recently, and it was so bad. Well, it had a nice trailer. It had a good trailer, and then I was like...
A lot of people believe that there's like a great concept in that movie that just wasn't executed properly.
It does, yeah. And they did well with like the aesthetics, I think.
Yeah.
But why Justin Timberlake for that?
I mean, Justin Timberlake is an actor. Like, he does act sometimes. I remember I watched him in Reptile last year, and I was like, oh, God.
It felt like it was a Joss Whedon
Did it?
movie. Shane H. Wilder said, damn you, Sarenko, shakes fist. And the Pope was at G7 to speak about the dangers of AI on a moral and spiritual level.
That's kind of interesting, I guess.
Interesting.
Like, I suppose. Like, yeah, we don't want, I'm sick of hearing the Pope's take on all of the basic stuff you're expecting to hear it about. I want to hear what the Pope thinks about, like, the 4-day work week or anything other than
What do you think
sexual
about
morality.
time blindness?
Yeah.
What do you think about quiet vacationing?
I want to hear the Pope's opinions on literally everything other than his thoughts on sexual morality, just because it's what everybody expects him to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Like, how do you feel about like comic book movies taking over the industry? Be honest. Do you like them, or are you more of like a drama guy?
We should have the Pope on this show.
That would be good. I would love to do that.
I think that we might be at that level.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it might be within reach. Crispy Leg.
We'll send him an email.
Oh no, Cora Nelson said, "Hello, Brute and Murray. Thank you for your nourishing content this fine Friday."
I've also got a word to add to that. When somebody says nourishing your body with nutritious food, the word nutritious can go jump off a bridge.
What about the Rachel Ray food for pets, Nutrish?
That's not as bad as nutritious. Nutritious is awful.
Nutrish better.
Nourishing your body with nutritious food. Even worse if they use yummy in there.
Ew.
Then they should just be banned. I will turn into an authoritarian immediately.
I'm starting to agree with you the more you
advocate for its banning. It's awful. It just reeks of moral superiority and stupidity.
Food can be yummy and nutritious at the same time.
I'm literally picturing you setting up a camera to record a really stupid video about this in your kitchen.
Where you're making an acai bowl. Yeah. Okay. Prometheus 1987 said, "Imagine how Anna Nicole Smith looks nowadays."
Well, you know.
Oof.
Skinny as a skeleton.
Yikes. Grofty said, "Talking about a diet or talking about being on one gives you the dopamine hit, like Phil would say, and will help you fail your objective. Keep it to yourself, maybe."
I say that all the time. The worst thing you can do is if you have big plans is to talk about those big plans.
The worst thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it gives you that hit in your
sense
brain
of
to be
fulfillment.
like, yep,
Yeah.
just go and do it.
Mm-hmm. Shane H. Wilder, it's like, just do it.
Exactly.
Wait, why did Shia LaBeouf do that?
Don't know. I
still don't know. Was that a Nike
The
sponsorship?
reason that Nike campaign was so successful, just do it.
Yeah. Shane H. Wilder said, "At least you didn't bring up the Reddit post you posted to X. Geez, that was rough to read. It was sad and cringy."
What was that? That was the one
Yes, it
about
was.
being addicted to, or like...
He was like subscribed to some woman on OnlyFans.
And then was upset she had a boyfriend.
Or was upset that there was some guy in her porn videos and he was like literally being cucked by him. It's just actual like torturing yourself psychologically.
I mean, I see that as the
what?
Sexualized version of stan culture, of the people who are so deluded into thinking they have like relationships with celebrities.
Yeah, like my post in response to it was more generally about pornography, but it definitely like it bears mentioning that, you know, OnlyFans takes it to the next level with the simulation of a personal
You could make
connection.
the argument that traditional porn disconnects from that personal nature and is therefore slightly less damaging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe T said, diarrhea is hereditary, runs in your genes.
But
Did you come up with that?
that was very clever.
Carnell said, "Curious if Brett has decided whether to go see Bad Boys Ride or Die or if you're gonna pass."
So there is a theater right by where I'm staying when I'm back in Minnesota. And I think that I'm going to make the time to go do that while I'm there because it's supposed to rain the whole trip. So,
Oh, that sucks.
yeah. So,
And it's gonna be like warm too.
yeah,
That's
like
90,
90,
the worst
like one of the days, like
kind.
rain and 90.
Oh!
Like I might just stay home.
That's disgusting.
If I didn't have a very good reason to go, I might have just stayed home. But
That is the
yeah.
worst type. Yeah, hate that. Hope you survive. 200 Watt Studio said EVS was on a diet. He crushed it under his weight. Why are we... I don't want to bully someone who's not even here
not
to
even
defend
here.
himself.
I see somebody in the chat says less DoorDash. One of my favorite new arguments that I see online, and I love this whenever the argument from boomers comes up about how you shouldn't eat DoorDash, right? They're like, I saw a great thread the other day. It's like, unless you make $80K a year, you should never even think of using DoorDash, which is actually probably good advice given how expensive it is. But my favorite was the first response was like, ableist much?
Oh yeah, they definitely, every time that people bring up DoorDash, they say it's ableist because, like, what was this? People have like these insane, some people are faking disabilities on the internet. Like, I know that sounds harsh, but some people are actually faking it because they're saying they have an autoimmune response to food that has been frozen. If you they say you don't need DoorDash, you can just go to the grocery store, you can get pre-made meals if you're not able to cook. And they said that I have an autoimmune response to food that has been frozen. That's made up. That is not real.
It's like saying that like as if none of the ingredients that came from your fast food delivery was frozen beforehand.
Yeah. Like, you can just say that you like Panera. Yeah. I don't know.
Like that, no, that's we were talking about this the other day. Like, it was like they were talking about you were talking about some Twitch streamer who like acted like she was like, if you want to be a menace, just be a menace. Don't pretend like it's some type of social cause.
Or that you're like oppressed for needing to DoorDash all of your meals. High Villager 75 said, thank you for nourishing our minds with all the yummy info about these pop culture crises. Trebed, and Amory. I'll see myself out.
Oh, I hate that word so much.
Yummy info.
At least they didn't say nutritious. Okay. They didn't say nutritious, did they?
No.
That's good. I hate that word.
Thank goodness.
Oddly enough, nutritious is fine on its own. It's when it's nourishing and nutritious. I just want to just ban your social media accounts. And I turn into those people who are trying to steal Alex Jones, to the people trying to steal social media
We're
accounts.
like a cent away from a fourth crisis party.
Let's get to it.
Actually, I don't know why it hasn't gone off yet.
Shane H. Wilder for $5.
Thank you. Prayers for safe travels, Brett. Can't wait for Kellen and Mary Conspiracy Corner. Gonna be working on some new memes and shorts this weekend. Yeah, I should mention, if you guys have any ideas for conspiracy related things, paranormal related things, really anything in that general realm, especially if it's related to pop culture.
Watch it and say, would Shane Cashman like it?
Yeah, like, it doesn't need to be pop culture related, although it does help. You should definitely send it my way. And tag me in it if you have ideas. I do have some things saved I'm not going to tell you about, so we might have repeats. But yeah, Shane is going to be on. Kellen is going to be sitting where Brett is currently sitting. Yep. And
I'm going to get
Aiden
back in
Mattis,
my chair. We'll never fit properly. We'll never sit properly again.
Aiden Mattis is going to be filling in as, you know, kind of a guest co-host for me, as he did when I was gone in the past. So I know that he definitely has a lot of background knowledge on those types of things. Yep. It's going to be fun. And then on Tuesday, we're just going to have another normal type of episode where we're covering what we normally cover. But I definitely wanted to be there for a conspiracy episode because that was my original plan when Shane and Ian were here. Not Ian Crossland, but Ian Carroll were here. But they ended up doing it just with Kellen. Okay, we've got a lot more here. Evan Perry said, I only used DoorDash while recovering from an accident. After 2 months and physical therapy, I was back to cooking. Those were some expensive months. Yeah,
it's expensive. Like, you're better off just, like, I know it sucks, but like it'd probably be cheaper to just order pizza than like the DoorDash. It's like, I've ever seen those memes. It's like food this much, delivery fee this much, and then it's like food $15, delivery fee $5, cost $92.75. Yeah. How did it get to be that much?
Coach sipping Jamba Juice out of a straw said, don't be boorish and use the word nourish.
Don't be boorish and rude.
200 Watt Studio said, best meals are moist.
Moist has never bothered me. That word doesn't bother me. That one that felt like a word that got memed into existence, like got reddited into existence.
Smelko said, I hear college students are lying to their therapist about their mental health to be able to have their pets live in their dorm.
Well, I mean, if you're going to create an industry that can be exploited for one's personal gain, people will do that.
Yeah, that's gross.
Weaponized empathy.
Thank you. BCNC sent us a poop emoji.
For 99 cents, so thank you for that.
Thanks. I'm sure it was worth the money. And we got another from High Voltage 75. I give this episode a 5 out of 5 on the boom meter.
Boom!
Boom! Boom! Boom! Boom!
Me and Mary did not hate that nearly as much as Dane wanted us to.
Like I didn't like it, but I don't get why he hated it so
It's like,
much.
leave the Rizzler alone.
Shane, especially the Rizzler, he was cute. Shane H. Wilder said, remember to bring the holy water, Mary, currently gathering assets for an X-Files PCC short. I hope to have it out before Monday's episode. Nice.
X-Files are good. Everyone should go watch
We're going to do, I'm going to commit to this now. We're going to do a meme review next week when Brett's back.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay. All right, we will do that. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Why haven't you? What are you waiting for?
Genuinely, though.
Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived, and make sure that you tune into that episode on Monday. I am just warning you once and for all for this week that Brett is going to be absent on Monday and Tuesday, so that nobody freaks out when it happens. You cannot blame me. I am warning you right now. But the show goes on nonetheless, and I will be here.
Yeah, you'll be stuck with me again on Wednesday, guys. Don't worry. You can. You're not
back and better than ever.
You're not getting rid of me that easy. Guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. The show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would prefer to listen rather than watch the show, and if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook, and not TikTok because we were banned, at Pop Culture Crisis there, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, the show will be back on Monday, and I will see all of you on Wednesday. Later.
Bye.